All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for coming, and you are going to love this. I'm glad you guys are here. And so, if you're ready, I'm ready. We're just going to give our countdown, and listen, we are ready to blow, and I'm glad you guys are here. So, if y'all ready, let's do it. All right. Welcome to the show, you guys. Secrets of the Mind of a Man, where we talk about how men think when it comes to dating, relationships, and love. And we getting into it today. I'm going to bring my girl right on in. What's going on, Eudenia? How
Hey,
are you?
it's good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes, yes. I decided to grab some of my friends today. We got a good run of folks that's going to come pop in. They're going to share on the topic. And Yadina, you are first. First, tell us who you are and tell us what you think about this topic. The gentleman is 35 plus. He's never been married, never been in a relationship, but he has all the other things that makes a man attractive in a woman's eyes. Is this a red flag?
I just from my personal opinion, first, let me say, I don't think it's a red flag. I think that maybe he's just if you're a man and you have that much going for you, you're very selective on who you allow in your space to begin with, because that is a strategic kind of positioning that you've done for yourself. So you're just selective. But I don't think that now for the woman looking into that, I mean, again, it just really depends on what angle she's coming from.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So you're telling me there's nothing wrong with this guy. He's and I just heard about a guy in this very situation. He's 38, 39 years old, something like that. He's got everything, but for whatever reason, he has not decided to take that step or to even have a long-term relationship. So you don't see anything wrong with that?
I actually don't. I really don't. I feel like he's got his stuff together. He knows what he wants, and perhaps he just hasn't found what he wants, or no one is deemed worthy of what he has to bring. Now, a woman that would stray away from someone like that, that might be a red flag within her. That's telling the good guys.
Okay.
So,
okay. All right. So check it out. So this guy, in my, I'm gonna do my points as I talk to my people, right? So for you, this guy is 38 years old, and his philosophy is, I keep women at a distance because I don't want them to see the inside of me. And so it's like he has a sense of insecurity about who he is. So is this guy dateable or debatable?
Insecurity is a big one. So you can have all that and be insecure, and it shows. It'll show louder than what you might think it does. As far as his dateability, I mean, why? That's something wrong, and you just pointed that out. That alone, that mindset, that's something wrong.
Yeah.
So for him to think that, okay, maybe I have it all, like there's a lack of self-confidence. Maybe he hasn't been exposed to women. I don't know how rooted it may be, but the fact that if he has and he checks all the boxes and he still doesn't feel confident within his manhood,
Mhm.
then there's something wrong. And
Something
that
wrong.
is the something wrong.
Yeah. That insecurity, and you'd be surprised as to how many men deal with insecurity. There some men you would ask like, why, how is this guy still single? And because we know that for the most part, a single adult male can get married anytime he wants. like there's no shortage of good women in the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so for him to not even have, the topic is about having gotten married or having a long-term relationship. Now I know some guys who they just decided, look, I don't believe in marriage, and that's not something that I'm ever going to do. That's on them, right? But a big red flag, it comes in when a guy has never been in a long-term relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in your, you know,
I feel like we're talking about the 40-year-old virgin here. I don't know.
yes. What is there something wrong with the 40-year-old virgin?
I don't think so, because I truly, you're asking my opinion, and so
Yeah.
I believe in a level of purity and abstinence. It's
Okay.
gonna go back to the mindset of this 40-year-old virgin. What's going on that it's been that long? Like, are you just really holding out because you're an actual a divine man, just saying, you know what, I'm worth better than that to these women out here, and I'm gonna wait on, you know, said woman? Or is
Mhm.
it I'm struggling with my masculinity, and it could be
It
a
could
lot
be
of
any of
different.
those. Yes. And I definitely agree. So, if there, give me your thought on this. If there's a woman out there, she's dealing with a man who's insecure. By the way, I talked to a lady today who's dealing with a man who falls into these categories here, and he's 50 years old and has never been married, and he's like seeing this woman who's talking to us about it, and I'm like, ma'am, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen for this guy.
Yeah, what would make a man at 50 years old that insecure or not confident? Could it have been past bad dating issue, like just bad dating or just bad experiences with women overall, or perhaps it's programming from growing up that he might think all women are gold dig or whatever the standard may be these days.
Yeah.
There's a combination. I would let's hit the pause button, right? So for a woman to attract a man like that, she's got to question what kind of energy she's giving, what kind of vibe she's giving, in order for her to, or what is it that's missing in her. And I'm not saying that you attract the perfect person by making sure uh, you're emotionally balanced and stable. I'm not saying that, but
Mm-hmm.
there comes a time in your life when you realize, okay, I was operating at this level of mindset that I was attracting these kinds of men or these kinds of women.
Mm-hmm.
And as you elevate it, you begin to attract different type and different caliber of women. I mean, there was a time in my life where I attracted thugs, but
Mm.
I was in that mindset, and that's
Mm.
what was drawn to me, and that's what I was open to. So again, I would always, whatever's in your life, I
Mm-hmm.
ask why. I would look internally and say, why am I attracting this? Why are these scenarios presented to me? She probably should go deep and see what is wrong. And again, there's nothing wrong, and I hope this woman doesn't think that I'm on her. But it's
Mm-hmm.
to think about, was there something lacking in her childhood or in her upbringing that caused her to attract a man that is just absent in that small place of
Mm.
being able to be the man,
Mm-hmm.
be a complete package? Like there's something There's some.
Oh, so this is a good twist on it. So you turn the question around and say, woman, what are you doing that is attracting a man who is emotionally insecure
Or unavailable. Right.
or unavailable?
Right. Right. I totally. She has to check herself to see. And then who says that she has to continue with this man? If it's not women, we have to make up our mind
Mm-hmm.
of what we want and what we don't want. Now, if he's the total package and you're okay with him being emotionally unavailable for that in that area, then you be okay with it. That's
Mm-hmm.
just your pie. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's something you don't want, why force the issue? What if it's something that big of a deal? Why even allow yourself in that space? Like no, it's just, and there's nothing wrong with her in that instant. It's
Mm-hmm.
just knowing what she's worth and who she is and what she deserves.
Yeah, yeah. And here's something that I want to say to even to this guy. If I'm sitting in front of this guy, I would tell him, listen, there's actually nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the guy, right? It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It doesn't mean he's a terrible person. You know, if he's over 35, if he's 38, 39, 40 years old, and he's never committed to a relationship, what it does say is that he has work to do. He has work to do on himself, whether that's to go to therapy, whether that's to get a coach, whether that is to take long walks in the park by himself and work on his mind, like whatever that is, right? But he has got to definitely work on himself because listen, if all the women that were in your life were bad, what's the common denominator?
You're the
you. You're
coordinator.
the common denominator
Right.
in all of your situations. And so at some point in time, a guy's got to take full responsibility for his condition and for his situation. So
And definitely needs to dig deep. He needs to kind of go in and see what it is and why he's unemotionally available. There's something there too. If you look at the pie as a whole, and there's a part in there that just it's like a missing link. um, you have to dig deeper in that because that allows you to see what's
mhm,
wrong with you.
mhm,
I even do that for my own personal life. I could look at a long chain of things, and then wherever I see a disconnect,
mm,
that lets me know that there's an underlying issue internally, whether it's mentally. Most of the time it is mentally and emotionally. There's a disconnect, and you need to find the source of why can't I be emotionally available. Okay, what happened? It all
mm,
goes back to trying to find the root of what happened through therapy, through coaches, whatever it may be, to see why you're unable to. Maybe he feels he's not worthy of love. Maybe
true.
he feels like there's so many things. But when you have a complete picture and as perfect as it's being painted, and you just have these chains linking, and then all of a sudden there's a jump, there's a misfire,
Yes.
a congruency in your aligned spirit, in your.
Yeah.
And so you really have to look deep into that and see why I cannot be open to women. Why can't I be open to men in a healthy way?
Hmm.
Because when you and again when you have those links, when you're trying to fill voids, it can go an extreme left or an extreme right.
Hmm.
So you need to find the correct balance in order to bring those parts together and to keep them from misfiring.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely true. It's definitely true. Eugenia, tell the folks who you are, how they can follow you, and give us your so long for tonight.
okay, so my name is Eudenia. I actually have a YouTube channel called Divine Time with Coach Y, where I help people really decide who they are, to know who they are. And I am a certified NLP coach, a certified hypnotherapist, four different certifications as far as counseling and therapy that I've gone through. So it's not just from wisdom I'm talking. It's actually accolades and acknowledged by and accredited, insight that I have. So, but yeah, Divine Time with Coach Y, and that's it on YouTube.
All right. Awesome. Well, I didn't know you had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's okay. So because I've recent my certifications are only like a month old, I've been building it. So
Okay.
it's there. It's just I haven't uploaded anything yet.
Crank it. Crank it. Crank it. Crank it. Crank it.
Yeah,
Crank it.
it's on.
Yes. Yes. You,
Fresh.
you gotta get it out there. You need to crank them videos out. Bang them, bang them, bang them. Shoot one every day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Right.
get them things out there because the world is waiting to hear what you have to say.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, lady. I appreciate you coming through to the show. Later.
Yeah.
All right. So that was our first friend that popped in, Yadinia, Coach Yadinia. And she dropped some gems here tonight. So I hope you guys got something from that. I hope you are enjoying what you've gotten so far. So today, you guys, we're talking about it, 7 reasons some men stay single, right? I'm having conversations with men about this. As a matter of fact, I started a new meetup group for men in Atlanta, single heterosexual men in Atlanta who are looking for love. So you guys stick to me. I'll hook you up. Maybe I'll drop those in the comment section below. So, but I got my next friend. It has popped into the studio. Get ready to bring her in. What's going on, Princess Faith?
Hey, how are ya?
What's popping?
Nothing much.
All right. Well, let's thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you coming through and sharing some love today. And so tell the folks who you are, and then we're going to get into the topic.
I am Princess. I have a lingerie loungewear brand. I'm a travel nurse. It's a question of what don't I do. So let's get into the topic.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So check it out. We got 7 reasons some men stay single, right? So I'm gonna pitch to you the second reason. The first reason was insecure, right? The second reason some men stay single and are unable to commit to a long-term relationship or to dating is addiction, right? That's addiction to food, sex, women, drugs, alcohol, right? They're putting their investment into, they have an addictive personality,
Right.
maybe even addicted to a person, right? And they have that inability to separate and to just be able to let that stuff go. So what's your thoughts about maybe about that, or your own thought as to why a man gets to be over 30 and has the inability to either sustain a relationship or to even have it last to marriage?
Well, as far as addiction go, I can't really speak to that because I don't think the issue is addiction, or I haven't dealt or dated anybody where the issue was addiction to anything other than themselves. but
Okay.
but I think there are many reasons why men do this. One, we're not, in our parents' generation where commitment was a thing. In 2021, options have become an option,
Mm.
and it's widely spread to do so. And we all live in this generation
Mm-hmm.
where we are emotionally charged and make a lot of decisions off our emotional state.
Mm.
So there's a lot of divorces because I've been in the marriage 5 years. Suddenly I don't like it. I know I have an option to go, so I choose that option.
Mm.
And then you have other issues why men stay single, because you have women, or they have a history of dating women who have been unfaithful in their own relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And they think, why should I commit when I'm out here with John or Larry's girl? And it
Okay.
just gives them, a bad taste of how women are or how women act in this day and age. And when you're in the age of Cardi B's and Meg the Stallion, you
Mm-hmm.
know it's not really hopeful
Yeah.
to commit
Yeah.
to anybody when everybody want to be a city girl, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or at
Mm-hmm.
least that's what's portrayed. So there's a lot of different factors that go in. That's just one of them.
Yeah. So why do you think that is though? That like um, men may follow that path. We got a lot. There's a lot of paths to follow, right?
Yeah.
So what is it in the men in our time? And you talked about um just having the choice, the ways to choose, the amount of choices. I talk about this sometimes about I met a guy from Silicon Valley,
Hmm.
and I asked him one time and says, "Man, what's the next big thing?" I wanted to know, like technology got us popping, it's going, and he told me, and this was about 15 years ago. He told me, he says, everything will be catered to the individual. This was like 15 years ago. He said
Right.
everything will be catered to the individual.
Hmm.
Everything you watch, everything you want to eat,
Hmm.
everything is catered to you, right?
Right.
And back then, people like Amazon, they wouldn't send do any individual orders. Like you should have to order a lot, but for a company to order. That's why we went to the stores. We
Right.
never used to order from the actual company because they wouldn't ship unless they shipped in bulk,
Right.
right? But now everything is catered to our taste, to the individual. The algorithm knows what you want. The algorithm knows more about you than anybody else in your whole life.
Hmm.
And so you think that plays into it?
I think it very much plays into it. As I was saying, like in 2021, where options have become an option, of course, no one is in that committed stage anymore. And I actually asked a friend, I posed a question to a friend of mine, of why he think men were single over the age of 30, 35. And he brought up some valid points as well,
What do you
where
say?
he was saying it could be something the experiences the man had before 30 or 35 that could
Mm,
lead him to that. It could be in today's age, sexuality playing a big part in it.
mm,
So he brought up other very valid things as well. And again, that goes back to options. And as
mm,
somebody who we know is a serial dater, has been in their life a serial dater, I've run into these many different scenarios where
mm,
there has been issues of sexuality. There has been issues of the lack of experience. There
mhm,
has been issues of I just don't want to commit. And
mhm,
there's also been the issue, like the young lady before brought up, where I asked the guy, this probably was like 6 years ago, and a
mhm,
guy wanted to date me. And I asked him, I said, out of everybody you could have, why would you choose me? We were the same age. We were in our mid 30s. He owned the commercial construction company in Atlanta,
mhm,
wealthy young man. And I was asking him, why choose me out of everybody you could choose? And he said, you can date everybody. No, he said, you can have sex with everybody, but you can't date everybody.
mhm,
And he said, I didn't see anybody else as dateable. So
mm.
everybody, the answer to that question is as individual as the person themselves. There's many
Yeah.
different reasons why men over the age of 30 or 35 do not commit nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I could tell you, I like that answer because what that brother says, what I heard is that there are still good, solid heterosexual men in Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah.
There are still some brothers that are looking for a wife, and everybody's not just looking for some tail.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually really good news. Um,
Hmm.
so give some of our listeners maybe we talk about the because this really is based on the red flags.
Hmm.
Like what do you see as a red flag if somebody's dating a guy or considering dating a guy? This guy is 39 or he's 42 and he's never been in a relationship or long-term relationship, or he's never gotten married. Uh, what kind of advice would you give to that person who's in that
Well, the
situation?
advice that I would give would be watch how he treats other people around him. I think that how a man not just treats you, but treat other people in his circle is really what you should base the character of that man off of. Because just basing it off of what he does with you, we all know people put on a mask in the beginning. So you
Mhm.
can't just look at what he do with you. Look at how he interacts with everyone else in his circle. Also, if a man over 30 is coming to you saying, let's just flow, let's just see where it goes.
See
No,
where
you have to
things
be
go.
intentional by that age. If you
Mm.
haven't learned to be intentional by that age, that is a major red flag. So I say those things and you'll be okay.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And those red flag, those are some good red flags. I shot a video one time called 5 Red Flags That You Absolutely Cannot Ignore.
Hmm.
And one of those was how the person treats other people
Yeah.
who can't do anything for them,
Hmm.
right? If he snatched the napkins out of the hand of the girl at the Burger King window and and
Right.
and talks to people like trash and like that's a sign. That's a
Right.
sign because you might be next.
Right. And another thing I don't think we or has been said yet, another red flag is stability. So if he's
Mm.
not stable yet, that's another major red flag. And what I mean by stable, he could have a crib, he could have a car, all of those things. But if he's changing jobs every 2 months, or
Mm.
he's just not consistent in what his goals are, he's not goal oriented,
Hmm.
all of those things are red flags over the age of 30.
Good stuff. I hope somebody's taking notes. All right, Princess Faith, tell the folks how they can connect with you, what you got going on, and I'm gonna sign off with you for tonight.
Okay. Well, guys, I have a book coming out. Everybody go to my Instagram, follow the Sexpert Queen. That is SEXTPERTQUEEN at Instagram.com. You could get my book called Foreplay to Fortune on there, and it just details how I basically went from lifestyle to building my lingerie brand. So that's where you guys could follow me at, and that's what's coming next for me.
Nice, nice. Well, I tell you what, drop it in the chat on YouTube, so
Okay.
that people drop your info in there and people can follow you. You guys can follow Princess Faith over there on the YouTube side. So, hey, lady, I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate all the love. I'll talk to you soon. You hear me?
Sexpress Queen. Yes, I'm signing off.
All right,
I was
later.
putting the Instagram in there. There we
It's
go.
all
Bye.
good. Later. All right, that was my girl, Princess Faith. And I got my people who popped in on in here from Atlanta. Tarsha, what's going on? My girl Shonda is from Norfolk, my home at the Virginia shore. So that's what's up. We're gonna do it, do it, do it. All right, good stuff. So we rolling along. We'll have our next person coming up soon, but I'm so let's keep it pushing though. Number 3, the third reason some men stay single. The third reason that there might be a red flag if a man is a certain age, over 35, 38, 39, 42, hike, and he has never been married, never been in a long-term relationship. It might be a red flag if he is a mama's boy. If he's a mama's boy, he gotta ask his mama for everything. Gotta ask his mama if she can, if if he can come through. If I can I come? I don't know. Should I stay on my job? Should I change jobs? Should I move? Should I? He gotta engage his mother every time at every angle. That might be a red flag. Why would that be a red flag, right? Because you would expect that a grown man has the ability to process what he wants, has the ability to think through what he wants, has the ability to decide yes, no, yes I will, no I won't, and be able to make that happen. And so if he can't do it, then that could be a red flag. So you guys, I want you guys to continue hanging in here with us today. So look, if you're watching and you got a question, drop your question in the comment section. I'm gonna jump in here and see what's going on with my people in the chat. My man Robert Lee said, "Look, some men don't want to be married." Okay, look, my man Robert, he just broke it down. Look, some people just don't want to be married, and that's true, right? But if you don't want to be married, you also cannot expect all the privileges that come with being married. Yeah, some men don't want to be married, but some of those same men do want all of the privileges, all the rights, all the responsibility, all the stuff that comes with being a husband, but don't want to be a husband. All right. So yes, Robert is right. There are some men who just don't want to be married. If you do want to be married and you're with a man who does not want to be married, you need to make a new decision. Listen, you must make a new decision. I see this all the time. Men very rarely change. Men very rarely decide to be different. Men very rarely decide, you know what? You're right. You have talked me into it. If you have to talk a man into marriage, he is not the man for you. I heard a saying one time, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. A woman convinced against her will is of the same opinion still. You can't talk somebody into commitment. Either they want it or they don't. All right. My girl Shonda said, what are they afraid of then? Let me see if I can pop you on the screen here. So what are they afraid of then? There is a barrier. And listen, I don't want to rush men into getting married, right? I say don't do it if you don't want to do it. I say nobody can push you into it, right? But also, if you say you don't want to do it, say it. Don't act like you want to do it. Don't perform all the roles and then lead somebody on. And meanwhile, you had no intention of ever marrying them. Don't do that, because that's not fair. All right. We move down. My girl Miranda, she's coming up. She said, if a man is insecure and she is secure, of course she would be drawn. I guess she meant to say he would be drawn to her. She is safe. So what she's saying is men might be drawn to a safe thing, taking a safe bet. Interesting. My man Robert again says, what some women are not in mental place to be a wife. All right. Some people are not in the mental space to be a wife. Trent, I'm waiting on you right now, brother. Where you at? My man Trent, he's supposed to be on right now, and he said in the message, I need you to be on the show, brother. Click the link, hop in. All right. Yes. All right. So that's what's up. So we're gonna push on. Brother, you got to click the link that I sent you to join the show, not on the Facebook. You can't get in that way. You have to click the link that I sent. All right. Shonda's got a comment. She says, Robert, are you speaking from experience? Oh, wait a minute. We're not choosing war here tonight. You're not choosing war here tonight. Let me make sure. We're not going to choose war here tonight. We're choosing peace. Yes. Trent, go in the chat and click the link that I sent you. That's the only way you can get on the show. All right. Let's keep it pushing. We're gonna keep it going. All right. Let's keep it going. Number 4. You guys, number 4, the number 4 reason some men stay single and never get married. This guy's 39, 30, 42, never been married. He is a flounderer. All right. So listen to this. Maybe y'all might know this guy. You might know this guy. All right. He's a flounderer. He's someone who is looking, he needs to be encouraged all the time. You ever met somebody who needs encouragement all the time? They need to be they need to be pushed up and propped up. Good job. You did a great job, buddy. Right? A flounderer, right? Unhappy with what's going on at work, unhappy with his life, maybe his career path, maybe the job, maybe any of that, right? The things that mean a lot to a man, maybe he's not very happy. So that guy is like, unless the woman fans his ego constantly, he may not be ready to commit to a relationship with her. He might say something like, you know what? I'm looking for the right woman who can check all the boxes for me before I even say she is my woman. A flounderer, right? He can't do it on his own. He's waiting for somebody. So the bottom line of that is this guy has to do it on his own. The guy has to make it happen for himself. And if he doesn't do that, then he's not ready to add another person on if he's not ready to make it happen for himself. All right, Trent, you ready to come on? Ready to bring you on? You got to keep that camera still. And welcome to the show. My man.
Hey, yo, Kevin, how you doing, man?
My man's in bed. Seriously,
Man,
bro.
I'm just up here relaxing and chilling, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Oh man, hold on. I'm gonna take you off just for a minute. Wait a minute. Trent, I need you to sit up for me, brother. Give me a good background. Just give me a good background. All right. I appreciate you. Come on back in.
All right, I got you.
Much better. I appreciate it. All right.
Hey, it's been a long time, man. What's going on?
All is well, man. We out here helping the people, loving life and living it to the fullest, brother. How about you?
Oh, I can't complain. Nobody will listen anyway. And I want to speak regarding your question that you had spoken about this earlier about people, about men not marrying at the age of like 30 or whatever, 39 or what have you. And then for me personally, I got married for the first time at 52. And for me, it's all about me biding your time, seeing what's out there and making your choices. And for the brothers out there, you just got to ask some serious questions because it's your time, your money, your emotion, and you got to know what it is you seriously investing into. And you have a right to ask questions, as do the ladies. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, Trent. So y'all listen to this. I don't know if y'all if he said it too fast, but I'm gonna slow it down because maybe they didn't catch it. Trent just said he got married for the first time at 52.
And my 55th birthday is coming up at the end of the month, so go figure.
Love it. So talk to me then. Tell me, and look, I don't know that many people. I won't say that. There's not a lot of people who will be honest to say if there was some kind of thing that kind of like they weren't ready, they weren't emotionally ready, or whatever it was. Like so no cap. Tell the truth. Why hadn't you gotten married, or had you been in serious relationships before that though?
Yes, sir. My last relationship before I got married was almost 12 years running.
Okay, so you do understand long-term relationship. So
I absolutely do.
So, but just not married. Just never married until now.
It just all those years it just didn't happen. Either they just weren't the right person, or I might not have been not ready, or they might have not been ready. Whatever whatever the case might have been. But I met my wife, and you've met her, some time back, and and when the time was right, we just did it.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to me about the part about you not being ready. What did that look like for you?
I mean, at the time, I mean, when I was going through, it could have been like, I couldn't have been. It might have been me. I might not have been the right person at the at that time, or they might not have been the right person. I mean, for me, it's for everybody that is willing to buy their time, see what's out there. You don't have to rush. Trust me. Yeah. I mean, your question was on age, and you can't. It's counterproductive for me, to talk about talk about age and set deadlines around that. You just have to take your time and feel the person out. And by all means, if you're interested in this person, ask questions, because you don't want to be in a situation when you're in a relationship and wishing to God that you had asked questions. Those are just my thoughts.
So how about you? Was that a factor for you? Like maybe she didn't ask questions, or like, because what we can't ignore is that one woman got what she wanted and another woman did not get what she wanted. Because I guarantee you, them women, they wanted a marriage. They not very many women just want to hang out with a guy for year after year after year.
And for me and my wife, in which I said you have met, and for us, we did the premarital counseling. We had done all that, and we had the long talks. And me and my wife, we actually met online in 2017. That was 4 years ago.
Okay.
And we had the long talks, and we were serious about this. We we sat ourselves down, and this is what you're getting into. I mean, if you don't want to deal with it, you're free to move on. But we just got to the point where we were just serious about what it is that we wanted. And these are people's feelings. This is and you have to be willing to merge your life financially, spiritually, and emotionally. There's this thing that goes on with marriage, leave to cleave. And a lot of couples, people aren't ready to do that. Leave your family, cleave to your spouse. That's what it's about.
So tell me, which part of that were you unwilling to do before?
It is for me. I just, there was just something about, the person. I mean, I might have been, wanted to take the next step. Maybe they weren't at the time. It could have been them, or in some cases, it could have been me. Or, my friends didn't like them for some reason. It could have been a lot of things.
Red flags.
And say again?
Red flags.
Oh, absolutely. You want me to discuss red flags? There were plenty. Matter of fact, in my last relationship, I would speak about this in the sense that it was her mother that ran the gauntlet of her existence. Regardless of what I said or what I did or how that worked, her main priority was her mother and her best friend. It's like, I don't want to be in a relationship that where I got to wonder where I fit in. I should automatically know that over some time. And if I don't fit in a particular space, I'm walking. That's me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Trent, we got a question for you. I like you guys that want to drop questions. Drop your questions on the YouTube side, and so it actually I can put it up on the screen. Trent, did you never see the person you were with for 12 years as a potential wife?
In reference to that question, actually, yes, I did. But looking back on the relationship now, and unfortunately, God rest her soul, she passed away 4 years ago. But in the case of my long-term relationship, there was a couple of red flags that I chose to ignore because I love this person to my soul. But looking back on it, it was a case of unrequited love in the sense that, again, her priority was her mother and her best friend. And I spent most of that relationship wondering where I would fit in. And I made a decision, after I gone through some things, not to deal with that again. I mean, I'm older now. There are certain things I do, and there's certain things I don't do. That's just my answer.
Good stuff. So I guess, Shonda, the answer is possibly for 12 years as a potential wife. Did you see her? I mean, could you see her as your wife?
Oh, at the time I did, but looking back on it was like a legal issue because technically, I didn't pay attention to it at the time. I wish to God I had. She was technically already married, just didn't get divorced.
And that's
Yeah,
wow.
she was with me physically, but legally she was on paper with somebody else,
Oh
and
man.
she claimed at the time that we were together that she had signed a piece of paper and she couldn't find this person to finalize the divorce, which I think is BS. Looking back all of it now, and I'm not going to trash this person based on the fact that they're no longer here to defend themselves.
Hmm.
Even though I could say a lot more things about this person, but based on the fact that this person passed on, I'm not gonna do that, because if I do start doing that, what does that say about me? That's
Yeah,
what she
yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, I definitely don't want you to trash her, but I want you to admit the truth, and the truth is inconsequential. It is what it is. And Marlena says Yahweh spares you.
I believe it. Looking back on all of it now, and as it's the person I'm with now. I'm with now, and who is my wife, and I
Mhm.
love her, and she has my back, and she is in tune with my mind, spirit, and all my aspirations, and I cannot ask for anything better. I absolutely cannot.
Nice, nice, nice. That's what's up, Trent. So before you get out of here, give us a couple of us a couple of writer downers, man. Something to pay attention to. What are some red flags that people absolutely should not ignore? And the final answer on the question: is it a red flag to be over 35, be in your 40s, being older, and not having crossed the path? So give us the red flags first.
One of the red flags, and I'm going, and this is the age of 2021 and 2022, and I know people meet and interact through social media, and there's a lot, if you know anything about social media, there's a lot of game being run on social media.
A lot of
If
game.
one thing is, if you're meeting somebody on social media and you're talking, if there's no video chat, and if there's only texting, and if people's feelings inadvertently get involved, eventually you will want to meet this person, and if they don't want to meet, that's definitely a red flag.
Mm.
And that's to me, that's just definitely a red flag, and you have to pay attention. And most importantly, you have to also pay attention. There are two kinds of conversations: what the person's saying and what the person is not saying, and you have to
Mm.
pay attention to both. You have to be able to read between the lines.
Mm.
Those are just my thoughts.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Um, yeah, I love that. You talking about body language and the things that people leave out of the conversation that they definitely should be leaving in, should be having
Absolutely,
conversations about. Yeah, I
without a question.
I think lack of conversation sometimes, lack of communication is sometimes more telling than what a person is actually saying. What they're not saying is more important.
I agree with you 100%, Kelvin. And the thing is, and my thing is, just because a relationship starts online does not mean it has to end there. I mean, you can start on the platform, but if you want a real relationship, real life is not happening on Facebook. It's not happening on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat. Real life is out here in these streets, as they say.
Mhm.
And eventually, if you're interested in this person, you're gonna want to meet them face to face. And because for me, and this is just me going off of Instagram, as as a point of reference, if you will. I mean, what I see on Instagram is a lot of ladies, putting like suggestive pictures and all that, which is great. And I'm from the old school. If you was crushing or feeling on, feeling somebody, how many pictures did you actually need? One. That's it. And
True.
the thing is, that one image, if you really like this person, that will burn in a brother's brain for days at a time. You don't need 1,000. I don't need 1,000 reminders to know, you know, what you look like. If you find, all you need is one.
Okay.
Again, it's just one. That's it.
Facts, facts, facts. Trent, tell the folks how they can follow you, how they can connect with you. Tell them what you got going on, and we're gonna let you go for the night.
Yeah, because basically I'm a commercial driver. I work during the day, and if you want to follow me, it's T.O. Davis 1230 on Instagram, and if you want to follow me, and it's Trent Davis on Facebook. You can see the name right there and pull up my profile. But then again, it's you got to be careful, because these are your emotions, and for me, getting married at 52, it's like that old Sting song. What are you doing for the rest of your life? And I happen to take that song to heart because if you think about it and you think about it on a long enough timeline, it's a serious question because you have to merge um your life, financially, spiritually, and emotionally, because it's going to be either all three or it's not going to work.
Facts, facts, facts. All right, my brother. I sure appreciate you coming through. Look, I think that you should start your own channel, brother. I seriously think so. And if you need some help, hit me up and I'll help you get started. But I think you got something. I think you got something. And I think you should.
All right, thank you much, Kelvin. Matter of fact, if I do decide to go that route, you're gonna be the first person I call.
Hey, I got you, brother. I got you.
All
right,
right,
my brother. Have a good one, man.
All right, you take care.
Peace.
All right, good night.
All right, that was my man Trent dropping some dimes. Look, y'all, my man was 52 years old before he got married. Now, he had been in long-term relationships 12 years, and my girl Shonda dropped some good knowledge in there. dropped a good question, asking like what he saw in the person, if he saw that person as potential wife for those 12 years, and he said he saw it, but it didn't happen, and it didn't happen for a reason. So but that's also encouragement to somebody. Don't give up. Don't give up. It doesn't matter if you're 52, right? Because I know his wife, and she's a lovely lady, right? He got him a good one. And so if there's somebody who's wondering if it's going to ever happen, why isn't it happening? Is it ever going to happen for me? I'm telling you, yes, it can still happen for you. All right, so let me get back to my numbers, right? We got up to number 5, y'all. Number 5 on the 7 reasons some men stay single. We talking about it. Is there a problem when a man is 35, 40, 45, 50, 52? From our brother Trent, and a man has not been married, maybe hasn't been in a long-term relationship. Trent had been in one. Maybe hadn't been in. If a man hasn't been in a long-term relationship, hasn't been married, and he's over that age of 35, 40, in that upper age, is that an issue? And so let me pop over here and see what my folks on the Facebook side have to say. I wish y'all would come on on the YouTube side so I can put your comments up. All right. My man Robert Lee said, right, make sure you ask questions and look at the answers you receive. Good. That's good one. Good one, brother. Look at those questions. Miranda had a question. Miranda, you gonna get your shot. She said, why stay in a 12-year relationship if it's not going anywhere? Miranda, there are people who stay in 20-year relationships, 30-year relationships, right? That are not going anywhere. But here, understand this. Every action has a benefit. Every action has a benefit. Everything that is done for a reason. There is a motive, right? There's a motive, short from motivation. There was motivation to do it, right? A person staying in a relationship for 12 years and then they go nowhere, they're getting something out of it. Even if they not getting the thing that they want out of it, they're still getting something out of it. All right. So that's why they stay. All right. All right. Robert Lee's got a question. Why do you want to be a wife? As a man's wife, what is it you can add to a man's purpose? Good questions. Good questions. All right. I'm gonna pose that question to my next guest when they come through, but let's move on. Number 5, the 5th reason some men stay single. Number 5, insecure narcissist. One of the 5th reason a man might stay single, a man who's over 35, a man is 35, 40, 45, 50 years old, he might stay single. He is an insecure narcissist, right? You might have met this guy. He wants to be the best at everything. Have you ever met some of the people who's been everywhere, done everything? You say, oh, we going up to the mountains this weekend. I've been to the mountains. Oh, have you ever been to Smoky Mountains? I even climbed a mountain. Like always one upping, always one upping. And when I'm around those people, I just wonder sometimes, like, do you hear yourself? do you realize what you're doing? That every story you have to have done that before, and you're one upping the person. Do you hear yourself? Yes. So that guy, he wants to be the life of the party. He wants to, he wants to be noticed, but he's also dealing with inside insecurity. If you can't just be happy for someone else, you're just dealing with your own inside insecurity, your own inside hurt that you can't let anybody into. And you know what? People like this are really dangerous because these people can go in the office. They go into high level of achievement. And look, there are some jobs that reward a man who's like this, right? He's the best. He wants to be the best. He wants to beat you badly, right? Always wants to win at all costs. There's some jobs that will give you that are happy to have that guy because he will help them make money. But what else is he? What else is he? All right, I got my next guest. She is in the green room. I'm ready to bring her on. Miranda, let me know when you're ready. Give me them thumbs up when you're ready. Thumbs up. All right. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I am amazing.
Awesome. Good to see you. Thank you
Yes.
for having me on tonight. Interesting conversation, to say the least.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on. As I look back one time, and it's been like almost 2 years since you've been on my show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
It's been about 2 years. Yeah.
Yes. So this is just kind of a drive-by. I'm gonna have you back on for a real show, but this is just a drive-by tonight.
Sounds
But
good.
so tell the folks who you are, and then I'm gonna have you answer the question.
Okay, so I am a licensed clinical social worker in New York, Virginia, and Alabama. I am a certified neuroscience coach and leader with specializations in neuro spirituality and neuro relationships. I also am a best-selling author of
Go ahead,
Single
girl.
and Faithfully Expecting, Living Your Best Life as a Christian Single.
Yes.
So those are some of the things that I do.
Yes, you better pitch, boo. Pitch.
I learned from the best. Thank you. No.
Yes. All right. The question. My man is 38 years old. I talked to a guy today. 38 years old. Talked to a lady earlier today. She's with a man who's 50 years old. And these men have their life all together. They look good on paper, but they have never had a long-term relationship, never been married, and you're at those ages. Is this a red flag, and why or why not?
So for me, it's not a red flag. It's not a red flag because usually if a guy is waiting and he wants to be married, then he's waiting for the right person. If he is that age and he has not made any movement toward marriage and you stay in that relationship, then you are in agreement with not being married. So that's the red flag, not the fact that he isn't married, because all of us have a choice, and some people don't want to be married, some people do. But you said this earlier, so if you have two people and they have two separate goals and you're going two separate ways, then really, why are you together? Of course, there is some benefit, but if your goal is to be married and you are giving away all of the things that equal a marriage, then you are doing yourself a disservice. And that's on the male and female side of it, right? It doesn't matter. But if one person is committed to saying like, this is, I want to be married and that's the lifestyle I want to lead, then you have to align yourself with your own goals. So for, I'm 41. I've never been married and I don't have any kids. So that is intentional because one, I never wanted to be a single parent. And two, I wanted to make sure that the person I aligned myself with was a God thing, not just that I just picked somebody and chose them. And so I feel like if I have that same kind of mindset, then of course there are good men out there that also have similar goals, similar mindsets, and they have just said, I'm not going to settle. I've gotten this far. I'm not going to just pick anyone just for the sake of picking someone.
Okay, that sounds really great, Miranda. That was really wonderful. Now, the thing is, though, I think that there is a difference between a woman who is 41 and hasn't been married and all of that, and a man who is 41 and who hasn't made this decision to be in a long-term relationship or to be married.
Why?
Now,
why is that?
Why? Why? Because for one thing, the scale of availability.
Okay.
Right? If do you know where the most single men live?
No, where? Because I'd like to go there. No.
No, you don't. It's up in the Arctic. Up there, the North Pole and all of that, right? Where it's freezing cold.
Yeah,
but
I'm not going there.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
I'll visit.
But there, I'm telling. But the women who are there there's very few women. So, and there's all these men who. So the women are in high demand in that area. Not that many women want to go and freeze to death. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, yeah, sure, I could understand a guy not engaging in marriage, not having long-term relationships because of the availability. But when you live in Norfolk, you live in down in Tidewater, in Atlanta, Carolina, you know what I mean? You live in Chicago, Detroit.
Yeah.
There is no shortage of good. There's the shortage. If there is a shortage, it would be on the man's marriageability.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I also think that's why they're not getting married, is because, again, if you're getting all the benefits of married life, why you don't have a need to tie yourself to someone. Someone also said it earlier, the ability to say, okay, 5 years, 2 years, I don't like this person, I want to get a divorce, or to stay with somebody, like you said, 20, 30 years in a relationship, receiving all of the benefits of married life because of the availability, then there's not a desire. There's not, it's not something that's necessary in order to receive what was once considered precious.
Okay. So the thing you said, your answer to this was not necessarily. I don't think that it is a red flag.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It can be.
Okay. Well, tell me the can be's.
Okay.
So just in case there's somebody here who's listening, and they're wondering,
so for
is
me,
this
a
red
can
flag?
be.
Go ahead. Let me hear
There's
the
tons of reasons that it can be a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the same things that you've probably already talked about is the commitment issues, fear. That's the big one, right? Fear is such a debilitating factor for all of us in any area of life, but especially marriage. It's a big commitment. It's, I've got to share my space. I've got to share my resources. I can't do certain things that I used to do before. I can't hang out. I don't have access to the plethora of available women that I used to have, right? So there's a lot that you have to give up to be in a committed relationship. And fear highlights all of those things. So if a guy is single and not married because of fear, and he's not willing to push past that fear, then obviously that's a red flag, because if you're with somebody that wants to be married, then you're not going in the same direction. Here's the thing though, the emotion that conquers fear is love. That's the emotion that overcomes fear, is love. So you have to be willing to push past that and open, right? And love is not just an emotion, love is an action. So you sacrifice, you communicate, you do things together, you set limits, you explore what this relationship will look like for us. And again, if it's for someone that's moving towards marriage and that conversation doesn't include marriage, then that will be a red flag for you.
Yeah. Listen, that's if a person, and this is one of my 5 red flags, the video that I shot, 5 red flags that you absolutely cannot ignore, is if you're in a relationship with somebody and there is no talk of the future.
Yes.
There's no conversation about where this thing is going, where are we going, where are we going to be. There's no talk about going on vacation. No, nothing.
Right. Yeah. Because, one thing I learned, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, one thing I learned about men, they don't only just see the here and now. They're like 5-10 years down the line. So men are constantly, not all men, you can't say all men,
no.
For the most part, men think in the future. So if you're not having that conversation, then baby, you ain't in the future.
So if a person is sitting here listening to you and they're like, check, what, how are they going to proceed from there? Because listen, you could look, we all make it sound like you could just walk out of a relationship, right? Just because you heard Kelvin and Miranda on here spitting all these gems, and you like, wow, that's me. Yeah. So now what, Miranda?
So, honestly, you're right. It's not just break it off tomorrow, because what you have to, especially if you are in this thing a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you have literally infused and integrated your life. So it will be a complete fracture to who you are if you just rip that out, right? So we're not saying do that, but we are saying assess where you are and where is this going, so you can have that conversation, have open, honest conversation. Ask the pointed question. Hey, I want to be married. We've been in this for a while. I don't want to force you to do something you don't want to do. Where are you? Ask the question. Ask the question. You have to be ready for the answer on the other side. Because if you're not ready for the answer, then you are going to make matters worse for yourself. The other thing that you need to do is be in reality. Right? What do I mean by that? So if you are hoping, okay, and you and I have talked about this before, dating potential, right? So if you're hoping, I can change him or I can change her, and it's been 5 years and ain't nothing changed, then you need to be in reality and accept the facts for where they are. Because when we don't accept facts, we increase our own emotional suffering. So you end up damaging yourself. The third thing I want you to know, if you decide this is a question I'm willing to ask, I'm willing to accept the answer on the other side, right? Then the third thing you need to realize is this will be a grieving process. So grief and loss has no time, but it has a lot of impact. So you have to be ready for what that looks like, and make sure you have people in your circle that are going to support you, not just people agreeing with you, but people that can say, listen, I will listen to you I will help you, whatever it is that you need. Because if you do decide to have this break after you have integrated your life, then you are definitely going to have a soul tie, because you have committed to one another. You are entwined, maybe spiritually, maybe physically, definitely mentally and emotionally. So when you've given so much of yourself for someone, to someone for so long, and they're not there, then you're going to have a hole that needs to be filled. Now, what you fill it with, I can't tell you what to do on that.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's totally true. I was in a coaching session with a lady the other day, and she was trying to get her head around the fact that her husband had just left her, and he left her for another woman who showed up at her door, came to her door. They got into altercation. The lady like spat in her face, and like it got bad, you know, and the police was called and all of that. And like, so she was talking to me about like, kind of like, what do I do now? You know, she had been together with the guy for like 13 years or something like that, you know, and you know, that's why I said, like, you can't just, it's easy for us to say, you know what, just move on, just get over it. No, it's really like a grieving process.
It is.
She said, I'm used to sleeping with somebody every night, right?
Yeah.
I'm not used to, I haven't slept in the bed by myself in 13, 14, 15 years, right? So it really can be like somebody died.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely. So you know, I'm a therapist, so I am going to suggest that you, not just your friends, but that you do seek professional support, right?
100%.
In whatever way that looks like for you.
100%.
You have to get that support. Yes, absolutely.
100%. 100%. I'm a proponent. I'm a champion for therapy. I'm telling you, it's the best thing that can happen to your life, to have somebody to sit down and help you to see yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, in a non-judgmental environment. So that can be a wonderful thing. So Miranda, thank you so much for coming through. Tell the folks how they can catch up to you, how they can follow you, how they can get that book in your hand.
Absolutely. So I do have a Facebook group for singles. It's called Single and Faithfully Expecting, the same title as the book.
All right, now.
You can find this on Amazon. If you type in my name, Miranda N. Dennis, it'll come up, and you'll be able to grab that from there. And also on YouTube, Miranda N. Dennis, LCSW. Tons of videos there you can check out. They're not all relationship related, but I'm sure you can find something that'll be helpful for your journey of wellness and being whole as a person.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys, now Miranda, is the group, is it Christian based? Is it a Christian based group?
Yes. Yep. Great question. So most of the content can apply to anybody, but we are a Christian group. And so we focus not just on how to live life as a single person, but also how to build your spiritual wellness, and how to be, if many people in the group have chosen abstinence. So we offer support for that as well, and encouraging people in that way. But life, living life well, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, even financially.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Miranda, thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you so much.
Take care.
Right.
Bye.
We're going to connect again soon.
Absolutely. Soon. Hit me up.
Got you, bro. Bye. All right. That's my girl, Miranda. Thank you guys so much for checking that out. Let me know. You guys type your questions and comments down in the chat or on the Facebook side. I'm going to go through some of these comments that I might have missed here. All right. So check it out. Meredith said support, guidance, honor, communication, friendship. Yes, most definitely. She said narcissists are controlling, abusive, demons, liars, and cheaters. Ooh, woo. That's what I was talking about in the narcissist question there. My man Robert Lee says narcissists are insecure and they cope with these insecurities by flexing. That's some truth there. This makes others like them feel less than in the long run, thus further aggravating their insecurities, which then leads to a vicious cycle of flexing behavior. Now, there's some truth to that, right? If it works for them, they keep doing it. They keep doing it because it works. So the flexing works when it works, but when it doesn't, it doesn't. All right. My man Trent said, looking back on it is not something I would ever do. This is probably in response to the question about, he spoke, this is to Miranda, about the question of why Trent stayed in a 12-year relationship that wasn't going anywhere. He said, looking back on it is not something I would ever do again. I'm happily married now, so it's water under the bridge. My man. he checked him at the same time. I love it. All right, Tina Medley said, I'm checking out the list of cities with the single men. I hear that. I hear that. Atlanta has a lot of single men. Yeah, you just got to know where to find them. All right, Marlena, thank you so much for the comment. She says, I think that men suppress their trauma. They don't seek help until it's too late or almost too late. And that's why they marry much later in life. Now, there is a perspective. Oh, I'm going to have to give you a clap on that. You guys, what y'all type down what y'all think about Marlena, what she just said about this, right? Men suppressing trauma and don't seek help. And then, so that's the reason why they marry late, because they're trying to work out their issues. But let me tell you something. You can't work out your issues using the same tools that got you into the issue, right? If you could work out your own issue, you would already have it worked out, right? So sometimes you got to get in deep with a therapist, get with a life coach, with a love coach, with somebody, right? I don't do therapy. If you look into work on your traumas, I will give you a great referral to some great therapists. I'll send you to Miranda. I'll send you to all my friends who are therapists. I don't do therapy. I do coaching. We're going to work on your strategy. We're going to work on where you are right now and where you want to go. And we're going to reverse engineer to where you are right now and work on that path. All right. I don't do coach. I don't do counseling. I'm not getting deep into your psychological issues of hurts and pains from, when you were 7 years old. That's not for me. Right. I've done plenty of that and it's not for me. I know what I do and I do what I do. So, but I do suggest, if there's a guy who's listening to this, who's watching this, and you're wondering why it hasn't happened. If you're wondering why it hasn't happened, right? It might be you. And hopefully this is the call for you to go get the help that you need. Because if you could have helped yourself, you would have done it by now. All right? Good stuff. Good stuff. Princess Faith, she says, I concur with Marlena. Yes. Yes. There's a lot of people who are pushing down their trauma, trying to deal with their issues by themselves, and it's not working. All right. All right, let me get to the next one. I got two more, and I'm getting them in between my guests popping in. We're showing love to everybody today. All right. Number 6 is career obsessed. The 6th reason men many times stay single is they are career obsessed. Spend all their time. I talk to these men like this all the time. Spend all of their time at work. Spend all of their time in their office. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are this way, career obsessed. Now, what's his name? Grant Cardone wrote a book one time, Be Obsessed or Be Average, which is an amazing book, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but that's for a time. That's for a time, right? You can't dump all of yourself into your work and avoid your relationship life, right? Now, here's the thing. I found this too, you guys. There are some men who put all of that energy into work to avoid relationships. They say, "Oh, I don't have time." Guess who's like that? Common and Tiffany Haddish, right? They was all good during the pandemic. Soon as the pandemic lifted, soon as things cleared up, boop, back off to work, right? Because work was essentially a higher priority than relationship and love. So what did they come out and say? Oh, we don't have time for relationships. Now, I believe that there's something beneath that. When a person says they don't have time for love, there is more. There's more to the story. I don't have time for relationships. I learned a long time ago, people have time for whatever it is they want to have time for. All right. If having a relationship, having a family, having all of those things were of a higher priority, you know what? You might have to say no to some things. You might have to say no to a show, a new opportunity, a new concert, a new this, a new that, right? Because you know that you don't have all day. You don't have forever to make this decision on which way you're going, right? Listen, let's be honest, especially for women. Women don't have all day. You look, and that's why I say, like, make sure these guys are being honest with you, because you don't have time to waste. You look at somebody like Tiffany Haddish, who's 41 years old, a woman that's 41, throwing away good men who really want to be with her. I mean, you know, how many more of them you going to get? High profile men. How many of those you going to get? So I think that you can't throw that away. So back to that, number 6 is career obsessed men. They work hard. They got that lesson. But then the lesson on allowing a woman into their lives, they missed that lesson altogether. All right. Number 7, y'all. Number 7 is the hero. The hero. Number 7 is the hero. Number 7 of the 7 reasons some men stay single. We talk about these men who are 35, 45, sometimes even into their 50s and have never been married. I want every one of you guys to write down, wherever you are watching this right now, type down and below, is there something wrong with that guy, or is he perfectly fine? Red flag or no? Red flag, yes. No red flag, no. No red flag, red flag. All right. So number 7 is he's a hero. This is the reason that he is not committing to relationships. The hero. He's also known as the captain who saves. All right. Sometimes there are some men who enjoy being the savior. They enjoy being in the position of, oh, let me help you out. Now, of course, most men desire to help someone out, but it is a manipulation ploy, right? Oh, and some of these men would never date a high quality, high level woman, right? No, because they got to date somebody that they need to help, right? Somebody they could just peel off with and say, you know what? Here you go, shorty, right? And that guy, he doesn't have any incentive to get married, no incentive to commit to one woman, right? Because he's leading with his wallet and he's enjoying the benefits that come from a guy who's got money, got resources, and willing to peel off. So he's a captain who saves. Y'all know what that means. and he is He's the reason. Captain who saves is somebody who's not looking for a long-term relationship. Now, when you run across the captain who saves, if you're a person who he's saving, you might be like, oh, no, not Larry. No, I like Larry. I could see myself with Larry. But can Larry see himself with you? Right? What happens when you no longer need his resources? I know you're still going to take him. I know you're still going to take it, right? But what happens when you no longer need Larry's resources? Will you step up and let Larry know that you see his games, his manipulation? Because trust me, when a man's got money like that, sometimes he will use his money to get everything he wants. Yeah, see that little scratch on the head? Everything he wants. All right. So let me see. I'm gonna drop over here. We got some. It's multi-layered. Yes, it is multi-layered. Princess says red flag. Man's 35, 40, 50. Red flag. Marlena says it depends on the man. All right. Here go Faith. She said, in my experience, the moment he feels you no longer need saving, he moves on to find someone who does. Ooh-wee. Soon as he finds somebody, finds out that you don't need saving, somebody does. And trust me, there's always somebody who needs saving. There's always somebody who needs saving. There's always somebody. The girl that work at Burger King, there's always somebody. The girl that don't have a job, the girl who's never been anywhere, the girl who looks like a vulnerable lamb out on the prairie, right? There's always one who needs saving. And so I think some of these things you can look out if your eyes are keen. And look, I had this conversation with some ladies the other day, right? About the intuition, right? I'm going to tell you something. Women have been blessed with the gift of discernment from God. God has gifted women with discernment, that feeling in your gut that something is not right, that feeling in your heart that this is not the right person, this is not the right moment, this is not right for me. This is the wrong situation for me. This is going in the wrong direction. I don't like the way this is going. Right. I had a lady tell me the other day. She says, I was with this guy. They were in a professional environment, right? At a professional office. They met. It was just kind of casual, having conversation. You could tell there was a spark there, right? My man goes and walks her to the car. They do this every day, pretty much, in this professional environment. And then one day he says, "Well, look, come, let me drive you around to your car." They drive around. He gets in the car before she leaves, gives a nice big hug, and a kiss on the cheek. Now, they hadn't established that this was actually going to be something, right? But my man made his move right there at the professional place, right? So she at first she was like, "Oh wow, isn't that something?" And then she thought, "Wait a minute, isn't that something? Is that something?" Right? So she essentially cut the guy off, stopped talking to him, gave him the cold shoulder when he came around, and that was pretty much it for that, right? And so so she asked, like, "Well, what, did I handle that right? What do you think about that?" And my thought is, well, I never blame a single guy for shooting his shot, right? How he moves, though, needs to be more clear, concise, open, You know, sometimes a man will move in a vague way. You don't know what you are. Are you his woman? Are you not his woman? Are you his girl? Are you his potential girl? What are you? But ambiguity is part of the game, right? So I told her, I says, what did your discernment say? What did your discernment in your gut say? Because that your discernment and your gut will speak to you and tell you what's going on. So essentially she knew from the moment my man was walking into the car. Nobody walks you to your car unless they like you. Let's be honest, right? Nobody walks you to your car day after day unless they feel some affection towards you, right? Now, she had the potential. She could have cut it off right there. You can cut it off right there, but sometimes it just feels good. And I told her, I said, you know what? You like male attention. I told her, I said, you like masculine attention. No, it wouldn't have even gotten to the point of him hugging you and kissing you if you knew that's not what you wanted. I said somebody could say you led the man on, right? Because if you didn't like him, why would you continue to walk down the hall with him in this professional environment? Yeah. So sometimes you got to watch those little subtle things. If you feel it in your gut, something's not right. Now, somebody might say, you know what? The guy didn't do anything wrong. He gave you a goodbye hug and a kiss. Okay. That's your discernment. But for her discernment says, I didn't like that. That wasn't appropriate. And we didn't talk about having a level of intimacy, right? Because that was a level of intimacy. There are many levels of intimacy, right? Look, walking down the hall was a level of intimacy. Her getting in the man's car was a level of intimacy, right? So you keep layering up these levels of intimacy and you wonder why my man made a move. Listen, sometimes you can lead a person on and not even know it. Sometimes you can lead a person on and not even realize that you're doing that. So don't lead a man on if that's not what you want. All right, let me check the line over here. Got some comments over here. All right. My girl Tina said Marlana is correct. Marlena was correct. Dr. Parks, she said, how about the man just don't want to be in a relationship? So, so that must be the answer to the question. Is there something wrong with the guy? 35, 40 years old. So how about the man just don't want to be in a relationship? Yeah. But there's a reason, Dr. Parks. There's a reason. People just don't want or not want something boop in a vacuum. Like there's a reason. Why doesn't he want a relationship? Because he don't? Just cause, right? And have never had a long-term relationship. This is the situation we talk about. The man has never been in a long-term relationship or been married before. Is that a red flag? Yes or no? For some people, that is a red flag. Some people, it's not. All right. Tina said, I think one of the greatest things I've received is when my ex apologized to me for blaming me what his ex-wife did. It's as if he would assume my response to what was going on in our relationship was going to be the same as his ex-wife response would have been. The trauma from his failed marriage caused him to sabotage our relationships. So I agree. look, I hear Tina what she's saying. Essentially, she's saying my man didn't get healed from his last relationship and got into a new relationship and began to treat her in that same kind of way. So you know what? In that case, that guy shouldn't be moving on until he moves on to healing. Don't move on 1 second until you move to healing. Move yourself to therapy. Move yourself to sitting down with a love coach, with a life coach. Move to sitting down with your pastor, with the deacon, right? Somebody who can give you some wise counsel, right? Moving on. Sometimes you can move on too fast and you are just not ready. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. And nobody can make you be ready. Now, so let me tell you something. Men often have a problem with this, right? Essentially, a man will move on fast. All right. Essentially, a man will move on fast, right? Meanwhile, a woman's getting healed, getting ready, getting focused. 4 or 5 years have gone by and she's still single. 4 or 5 months go by and the man is back in a relationship, right? That doesn't mean he was ready for it, and that doesn't mean he's healed. All right, AJ. AJ said, never married? No. Never been in a long-term relationship? Possibly, but not certainly. So AJ says there's nothing wrong if a man is older and never been married. But it is a problem. It could be a problem if he's never been in a long-term relationship. Okay. I'm with you. I'm feeling it. All right, good stuff. You gave him my name. Tina says I gave him your name. You gave him my name? All right, send him my way. I'll help him out. I'll definitely love to work with him. I work with the guys real well. Understood. Right, good stuff, you guys. All right. So good stuff. All right. Well, I think we are good for tonight, y'all. I'm so glad that all of you came through and joined me tonight. I want to invite you to check out my free course, Finding the One. I got a free course called Finding the One .club. If you're looking to find the one, I got a free course to help you on your journey. And if you got a show idea, you got a thought about a show that would be good for us to run, a topic that needs to be talked about, this is the place to do it. We're gonna be doing a lot more of these shows. I do them already. I've been pretty consistent on every Monday at 9:00 p.m. But we're going to add more shows throughout the week because I got a lot. There's a lot that we can cover in these shows, and I definitely want to do it and bring you guys along for the ride. So if you like this topic, these shows, go ahead, hit that share button, share this with somebody, and let them know that we're doing something over here. We're making it happen. We're talking about real issues with real people, helping people to find real love. If you need a one-on-one coaching session, jump in my inbox, send me an email right now. I'll let you know how we can hook you up, how I can help you. I do one-on-ones. I do a group coaching, and you guys, I have reignited the Patreon page. So for just $5, you can get the inside scoop on the background of these topics, some of the stuff that I'm working on that I'm not even sharing out front. I'll share it to the Patreon community, and you can get in on that for less than just $5. I'll drop the link down in the description of this video because I would really want everybody who's involved to help support the show. $5 a month is not going to kill you, but it's going to help me keep this show going and keep everything we got going on. So, all right, you guys, thank y'all so much for being here. Till next time, peace and love. Y'all have an amazing night.